There's a man who no longer exists. His name has been erased from history. His followers speak in fragments. His words echo from places they shouldn't exist. And somehow, he was the first person we ever meet. Not Chris, not Toriel, not even the discarded vessel. Him. Another him. What if Gaster isn't hiding from us? What if he's building something? Something he's been waiting an impossibly long time to finish. Something he calls my Deltarune. Hey, thank you so much for the support on the last video, for all the comments, the likes. Anyway, please consider subscribing and enjoy the show. In Undertale, we're told that WD Gaster was shattered across time and space. Somehow, despite this, Gaster still exists. He can hear us speak his name. He can still reach across worlds and timelines as if pieces of him were scattered through reality itself. But what does it actually mean to be shattered across time and space? What if Gaster wasn't simply broken, but what if pieces of him became scattered across countless realities? Fragments of the same person, each carrying memories of the world they lost, each existing somewhere within the multiverse. If that's true, then it isn't hard to imagine one of those fragments existing within the world of Deltarune. A version of Gaster who remembers a world no one else does, who understands the countless timelines connecting them. And unlike the others, this Gaster refuses to let his world disappear. So he begins building it again. My theory is that Gaster has been working towards a single goal all along: to rebuild the world he lost, to return home, a new home. Not by finding a way back to the world he knew as Undertale, but by recreating it from the ground up, constructing a new version of the place he once called home. As unbelievable as that sounds, I think there's far more evidence for it than most people actually realize. Firstly, there are the kidnappings. So far, only 2 characters have actually been taken by the Knight in Deltarune, Undyne and Asgore. But a third, Toriel, was very nearly taken as well. At first glance, these might seem like random choices, but I don't think they are. All 3 are major figures in Undertale, and if Gaster really is trying to recreate that world, they would be exactly the kind of people he'd need. That doesn't prove they're being targeted because of him, but it's a connection that's difficult to ignore. If Gaster's goal is to rebuild the world he once knew, then he can't just recreate the setting. He needs the people who made the world what it was. He has to rebuild Undertale from the ground up, piece by piece. Another point of evidence is Toby Fox referring to Deltarune as the parallel story. It's not a different story, it's a parallel story to Undertale. I really can't. So, I believe that this is a parallel story to Gaster's story. I think the way he's creating Undertale from the ground up is through dark fountains. Yes, I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out. I believe that the dark fountain beneath the shelter is the key to Gaster's experiment, the way he's constructing his new world. That isn't as far-fetched as it sounds, because one thing we already know is that Gaster understands dark fountains. This is in by itself another theory, but I do believe that the evidence strongly suggests that he knows how to make them. Hey, before we continue, I remind you to please subscribe and check out the memberships. I think it's probably on already, and if you consider supporting me, I would very much appreciate it. Thank you so much. Anyway, sorry for the interruption. Let's continue. Entry number 17. Dark. Darker, yet darker. The darkness keeps growing. The shadows cutting deeper. Photon readings negative. The next experiment seems very, very interesting. I think what Gaster is describing in entry 17 might actually be him experimenting with what we know as dark fountains, long before the events of Deltarune, before he was shattered across time and space. If that's true, then Gaster didn't just understand dark fountains, he may have been experimenting with them from the very beginning. They weren't discovered by chance, they were a part of his work. That brings us to the major question. The prophecy, and by extension, the Night. The DELTARUNE prophecy already existed as a fundamental law of the world. We even know that. However, by the time of Undertale, much has been forgotten, as Gerson tells us. But Gaster is different. If he truly exists outside of time and space, then it's entirely possible that he remembers the prophecy exactly as it once was, before the events of Undertale. He knows how it's supposed to unfold. More importantly, he knows how to manipulate it. I don't think Gaster created the prophecy, I think he weaponized it. By guiding events and perhaps even influencing the Night, he ensures the prophecy unfolds exactly as he intended, leaving them acting independently, while Gaster quietly nudges events towards something much greater, the reconstruction of his world. The second question is us. Honestly, I could make a whole video about the player alone. If you'd like to see that, make sure to comment it. But for now, here's a short version. I don't think the prophecy can function without the player. The prophecy requires an outside force, outside from the universe itself, their universe, someone who doesn't belong in their world. And if Gaster truly understands everything that's about to happen, then the Goner Vessel sequence suddenly makes perfect sense. It isn't just a character's creator, it's the first move in Gaster's plan, his way of reaching beyond the boundaries of the game itself and bringing the one piece of his experiment that he is missing. The very first step towards creating his Deltarune. By the end of chapter 4, when you finish the chapter, it says that you've reached the halfway point, and it also says, how much longer now? My Deltarune. When I heard that line, one question immediately came to mind. What even is a Deltarune? It's not the game, it's not even the prophecy. What does the word actually mean inside the world? I think we've been assuming we already know the answer. But what if Deltarune isn't a place at all? What if it represents destiny itself? Every person has a path, a fate, a Deltarune, a role they're meant to fulfill, in other words. If that's true, then Gaster isn't asking about the location. He's asking a question. How much longer until my destiny is fulfilled? How much longer until the world he's been trying to rebuild finally becomes reality? And maybe that's what my Deltarune has meant all along. Not a place, not an objective, but the future Gaster has been working towards since before we even arrived. Of course, W. Fox has a habit of hiding the truth in plain sight, so there are plenty of other ways the interpretation of this. Maybe Gaster isn't rebuilding the whole world. Maybe my Deltarune means something entirely different. Maybe entry 17 has nothing to do with dark fountains. But when I look at the pieces together, I don't think it's a coincidence. Because the deeper I look into Gaster, the less he felt like a forgotten scientist, and the more he felt like the one person who already knew how the story ends. What do you think Gaster is trying to do with all of this? Did I even miss any evidence? Is there more evidence? Or is there a complete different explanation of my Deltarune? Let me know down in the comments. I read as many of them as I can. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more deep dives into Deltarune and Undertale and Toby Fox hidden lore, consider subscribing. It really helps the channel, and we're only getting started. If you'd like to support my channel even further, make sure to check out the join button below. Members get access to exclusive perks. I'm not sure which ones yet, I've just started this channel, but help support the long form videos and make it possible for me to spend way more of my time obsessing over Deltarune. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, somewhere, someone is still waiting for their Deltarune.